Hi, everyone. My name is Noah. I am a junior here at UNH, and we are going to have a campus tour for you today. If you do have any questions at all throughout the duration of the tour, please feel to send them in the chat box below. Kyla is going to be our tour guide for the day. She will be directing us all around, and we will be able to see a residence hall and a room, so please stick around for that. If you do have any questions at all, we're more than happy to answer them. So feel free to leave them in the chat. So yeah, and then Kyla, you guys are all ready.
Awesome. Hi guys, welcome to UNH. My name's Kyla. I'm a sophomore environmental science student here with a concentration in ecosystems. I'm from Long Island, New York, and yeah, welcome. So we're gonna first go to our dining hall on campus, one of our main ones called Holloway Commons. And so we're gonna walk, we're gonna start right here at Smith. I was jumping ahead. So Smith right here is our admissions building, as well as the home to some of our other student success services here. One of the big ones is PACS, so that's the psychological and counseling services. This is a great place to just promote your own mental well-being. And you could do that in a bunch of different ways here. You have individual sessions, and actually 8 sessions are included in your tuition per semester, so you don't have to pay any additional costs to get access to those services. So if you want to talk about something at all with just any sort of trained professional, they're here for you. I know I've gone there a bunch, and they're always super, super sweet and super helpful. They also have group sessions, and those are completely unlimited. So if you're struggling to adapt or you have certain issues in school and you say a group that kind of mirrors that, you're more than welcome to join into any of those sessions. Another thing we have here is SAS, and that's our student accessibility services. So that offers everything from like physical to learning accessibility things and accommodations. So if it's stuff like learning accommodations, things like extended time on exams, alternate testing locations, things like that, they can do that there. If it's a physical accommodation, say you break your leg and you can't get to class, they could help you figure that out as well. They're super easy. It takes 3 easy steps. You just have to register, write down what kind of accommodations you need, and meet with one of the really, really helpful people inside, and that's it. And the last thing we have in here is CFAR. So that's the Center for Academic Resources. This is the great place for you to really get included into academics and just get any sort of help you might need adapting to new college life. They have things like organization help, help with time management, understanding what a syllabi is, and how to kind of study for these new college classes, because there is a difference between college and high school studying, and they know that. So this is a great building for just any sort of student resources and any sort of help you might need. Any questions?
We do not have any questions right now. Actually, we do have one question. Have you ever used what was the best thing like CFAR has helped you with? You ever gone to CFAR?
Yeah, so I actually haven't been to CFAR yet, but I know one of my friends did last year. He definitely had some issues with organization that he recognized through high school, and his mom actually recommended that he went. She made the appointment, so he went. They helped him organize all of the syllabi and made a huge calendar with all of his assignments, so he didn't miss anything. Honestly, most times he was reminding me about stuff, which was really, really helpful. So I know they were really helpful for stuff like that.
Awesome, and we're all good for questions now, so you're free to continue. We're all good, so you're
okay. Awesome. So we're going to head right over to Holloway Commons, one of our dining halls here on campus. So while we're walking, I'll point out some buildings. Right over here, we have the Paul Business School. That's going to be where a lot of your business, accounting, finance classes, that's where those things are going to be. It's one of our newer buildings on campus, so it's really, really nice. They also have a cafe in there, so if coffee is more your thing instead of business, there's definitely that there. Over here, we have Hamilton Smith Hall. That's going to be your home for liberal arts, so things like English, journalism, that'll all happen right there. They also have a really, really great study center in the middle of that, which my friends and I go to a lot, so that's really cool.
So I would like to encourage, if anybody does have any questions throughout the duration of our tour, feel free to send them in chat. What life is like on campus, what are classes like, class sizes. We're more than happy to answer them in the chat, answer them for you. Oh, Kyra, we do have one question. And somebody wants to know, is Paul, so it's a Paul College, is that close to other academic buildings on campus?
Yeah, it definitely is. So that is definitely close to one of our, a lot of our other academic buildings. As you can see right here, it's directly across the street from Hamilton Smith Hall. So that's definitely really close. The library is right across the street from it as well. So that's a really close distance. A little bit farther down, you're going to have James, which is home to like environmental sciences and stuff like that. Also things like Huddleston, so things like study abroad and stuff like that, those are all going to be there. So it's definitely close.
Great, thank you. We do have another question, and they were asking how close is like downtown Durham? Is downtown close to campus?
Yeah, so Main Street is actually really, really close to campus. You can actually see from here, right at the end, you're going to have Aroma Joe's, so a big hub for like coffee. So if you're a coffee lover, that's a great place to find it. It's really pretty close from my dorm. It's got like a 3 or 4 minute walk. It's really, really accessible.
Great. Awesome. Someone they're watching from Danville, California. So all the way coast to coast. Oh, we do have some questions coming. We do have some questions in the chat. Do a lot of students, and if you don't know, how many students do a lot of students travel home, from the holidays? Let's say somebody's from out of state. Do students like to go home for the holidays?
I would say a lot of people do. It's definitely normal though to stay. I personally live in a vacation dorm, so that means that I actually don't have to leave at all. And I don't actually have to like pay any extra or anything to stay. I'm allowed to come and go as I please. So it definitely like you can opt for dorms if you don't want to go home, where you could stay all break. But it's definitely pretty easy to get home. I'm from Long Island, so it's definitely a little bit of a drive, but they have buses from Portsmouth and we have the Amtrak on campus. So they definitely make it easy to get home for the holidays.
Great. Yeah, and I can definitely speak about the Amtrak. I'm from Pennsylvania, and that is, I take the Amtrak. I can get down to Boston that way, and then I can take I can get to Boston, and I can get to the airport from there. So it's very easy for students. Take the Amtrak, get down to Boston. So.
Awesome. So we just made to Holloway Commons. This is one of our larger dining halls on campus. We have 2 other ones. So those would be Stillings and Philbrook. These are great places. I mean, we go here all the time. Every student that does live on campus gets a dining plan, like a hall plan and a meal plan. Those things are basically where you can eat. But here on campus, it's actually pretty unique. Every single one of our dining plans has unlimited swipes, so you can come here as often as you want. Try to test it out, see how many times you can get here. I've heard some people have gone like 12 times a day. So like, that's pretty cool. The only thing that differs between those plans are dining dollars. So dining dollars is where you can spend this money on kind of alternative eating. So things like cafes to get like chicken fingers late at night, if that's what you're into. Also coffee, like the Dunkin' right next to us. If that's what you're into with coffee, that's where I spend a lot of my dining dollars. That's a great place to do that. They also have things like Wild Kitty, and that's kind of where you could pick up stuff like bags of chips and stuff like that. So if you're just kind of looking for a little bit of grocery shopping, it's a great place to do it. As well as that, they have continuous food. So there's never going to be a shutdown where they're switching between meals, which is really cool. So there's never going to be a time of day while it's open that you can't get anything to eat. They do have like specialty bars and specialty nights. So in the mornings, they have the omelet bar where you can pick where you want to put in it and whether you want it as an omelet or a scramble, and they'll make it in front of you. They also have stir fry at night, which is really cool. And they have the ice cream bar a lot, which is really nice. A lot of people like that. Nacho bars is something that's also pretty common here. And they have specialty nights like Italian night. And they also shop local a lot. So they'll have like a local dinner where everything comes from farms and stuff around here. Any questions about that?
Yeah, we do have one question. Somebody asked, what is your favorite food from the dining hall from Hoka?
Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like one of my favorites definitely has to be chicken cordon bleu. I had that like a bunch last semester, and it like made my day whenever they had that. They would serve it a lot with like smoked mozzarella ravioli. Oh my gosh, that's like by far my favorite dinner here.
That sounds so good. I didn't know we had that.
Oh yeah.
My favorite food is the cheesy bread. just like cheese and bread and
Yeah.
everything you could ever need.
Yep, that's definitely a fan favorite.
So, but yeah, no questions about dining at this time. So,
Awesome. So we're going to head over to the Memorial Union Building, and that's our student union here on campus. Thank you. As we're walking by, you can see the mailroom. So this is how you'll send and receive packages here. So if Amazon and your Target are still a fan fave, there's definitely ways to receive it. And over here, we also have IT desks. So things like computer help. I go there a lot. Not very technologically good. As you'll see to my right, here's Union Court. So this is another place that you can kind of spend things like dining dollars on campus. This will be like food made to order. So things like sandwiches and stuff to go, or like kind of what you want. That's a great thing. It's also a really great place to meet up with friends and study. And some people are sitting, so I'm going to talk more about it downstairs.
oh, Kyle, we do have one question. We do have a couple
Of
questions.
course. Mhm.
Someone has asked, they are interested in studying abroad. Have you studied abroad at all?
I have not, but I am planning to next year. I'm still ironing out kind of where I want to go. We do have over 400 recognized study abroad and study away programs. So if going to another university is something you're interested in, there's definitely ways to do that. If going to different places is something you're interested in, you go ahead. That's definitely an option too. So you could definitely get all of those. There's actually a website for like study abroad at UNH, and they have a list of a bunch of different places you can go specific to your major. Anything else?
That's good for now. You can continue about the mob. So
Awesome. So the MUB is a great place for involvement and inclusivity. And so there's a bunch of different ways we do that. About involvement, we do have over 250 student-run organizations here on campus. So everything from yoga to acapella to, I know a squirrel watching club is being started up. And if you haven't seen one that you want, then you're more than welcome to start one. I know it's really easy to start. My friend just actually started an inclusive reading one. So reading books as a book club by underrepresented authors with underrepresented characters. So stuff like that is really important. You can go ahead, don't worry. And they started thinking about the idea in August, and it's already recognized as a club as of like, I think mid-September. So it's definitely really easy to start those up if that's more something you're interested in. We also have like intramural and club sports. So if that's something you're interested in getting involved in, you could do that. We do have sorority and fraternity life here on campus too. About 20% of our students are involved in that. So if you're interested in that, there's ways to do that. If just kind of hanging out is something you're interested in, the MUB is a great place to go for that. We have 2 movie theaters upstairs. I know for Halloween, they just showed like Halloween Town and a lot of those kind of movies, which is pretty cool. I know they also have a game room downstairs, and that's where things are like pool, ping pong, Wii consoles, Nintendo Switches. My friends and I go there all the time to play Mario Kart. If that's something you're interested in, there's definitely something to do it. The Union Court we just saw upstairs also hosts things like bingo, trivia. They also bring in guest speakers, comedians, and musicians. So always something to going on in the MUB. They do say here that if you're bored, it's because you want to be bored and not because you have to be, because there is really so much to do. We also really prioritize inclusivity. And one of the ways we do that is through our Beauregard Center, which is right down the hall, and we're going to walk past it in a minute. This is a center on campus for every student. And it's basically just making sure that everybody feels really involved and included here on campus. We also, through that, do our 6 diversity support coalition clubs. So things like the Black Student Union and the United Asian Coalition, stuff like that, to make sure that every student feels involved here on campus and really included in everything. One of those is also Alliance. So we have a 4.5 out of 5 on our Pride ranking. So just how comfortable and included people as part of the LGBTQIA plus community feel here on campus. That was a lot. Any questions?
Yeah, we do have one question. What is
Yeah.
your favorite, what's your favorite event that you've seen in the MUB? Like what show or something like that?
Honestly, I really, really like the game room. I think it's like a great space. And especially when you have a big group of friends, it's kind of hard to like get together in somebody's dorm and hope they have enough remotes for everybody. So I do take advantage of the game room a lot. So that's probably one of my favorites here.
Awesome. Great. We don't have a question about the MUB, but we do have one about housing. And somebody asked,
Yeah.
is housing guaranteed for all 4 years?
Yeah, housing is guaranteed for all 4 years. We do have a bunch of different kind of housing styles. We'll talk about that in a second when we go see my dorm actually, but it is guaranteed for all 4 years.
Awesome. Great. We don't have any additional questions. So you're all good.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
we're going to go head over to Randall Hall and see my dorm.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. The MUB on campus, like Kyla said, nobody's bored on campus unless you choose to be. The MUB really is home to all student life. Friday night students, they love to go to the MUB. Me especially, I love to see one of the acapella shows. Yeah, one of the acapella shows, there's talent shows, improv groups. The MUB really is the center of campus. So. They're heading out right outside the Memorial Union Building, taking this little ramp right into Randall Hall. And Randall is part of Lower Quad, and Lower Quad is just one of the residence hall sections here on campus. And Kyle did mention about dining a little bit earlier, but another cool thing about dining is no matter where you live on campus, you're always relatively close to a dining hall. So you would never have to walk, more than 10 minutes to get from your room to a dining hall. So great. We are heading in right into Randall Hall as of now. So.
Okay, I hope this opens on the first try. Awesome.
And we're heading into a room right now. So.
Yep. Welcome to my dorm, guys. All right, so I live in a traditional double here on campus. So this is a room with 2 roommates. So my roommate Diana and then me. This is my side. Definitely in the Christmas spirit at this point. I also have fish over there. So those are my pet fish and snail. My snail's name is Santiago. So pretty cool. Every dorm comes with a bed, a desk, and a dresser and a closet. So that's what I have right here. This is a pretty typical dorm, I feel like. So Randall is just one of 27 residence halls here we have on campus. We do have things like singles, doubles, triples, suite style, and on and off campus apartments. So if any of that is like it tickles your fancy, we basically have everything. There's just a bunch of different ways to live here. So you basically can pick exactly what kind of community you want and streamline what you live in to make sure you're really going to be happy there. We have a bunch of different size dorms. So things like the minis where they have like around 30 to 60 people. We also have large dorms. So Stoke has about 600. So if that's more something that's up your alley, that's a great place. This is kind of a medium to large one just because it's part of a dorm network. So there's this called Upper Quad right here. So there's 2 other buildings. Every hall has an RHD, which is really unique to UNH. And these are adults who have finished their studies and have come back to kind of make a community here on campus. So they live in the dorm and just kind of help with managing the RAs and just kind of sponsoring a community here. My RHD Brittany is so nice. She's always around and she's always kind of organizing socials and handing out goodies and stuff like that. And we also have RAs on every floor. So those are residence advisors. These are really, really great resources. My RA is a year older than me, but they've all been rigorously trained and selected to make sure that they're of the utmost kind of like professionalism and making sure that you have the best kind of support. RAs are great to go to for basically everything. I ask my RA random questions about things like moving in and moving out. If you have any like maintenance requests, they're a great resource to go through for that. Even just asking random questions. My RA helps me with my chemistry homework all the time because I am not good at chemistry at all, but she's a chemistry major, so definitely helpful. Even last year for my freshman year, I went to my RA all the time to just know how to get to certain buildings when I still was super like confident about how to get around campus. So it's a great way to just kind of both get involved and also get some help if you need. As long as like as well with the sizes, there's also certain themes. So we have like first year only. So some of those, if you want a freshman only community, that's what I lived in last year and I loved it. If that is something you think for you, they have 6 of them right now. So 6 freshmen only dorms, and they vary in kind of like sizes and location. They also have themes like gender inclusive housing. They have things like an engineering dorm, an honors dorm. So if you're part of the honors program, you can like live there and just have kind of a community like-minded. They also have like a sports house. So if you're into kind of athletics and outdoor stuff, that's greatly like that's a great place for you too. And yeah, I mean, a great thing about dorms, I think, is the kind of the socials and the community we build here. We host socials basically once a week. Some of my favorites have been like we made s'mores in the fire pit in the lounge one day, which is really cool. We've also done like painting and like we carved pumpkins one time. So just kind of stuff like that, that the RAs and the RHD all organize for us. Any questions?
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Somebody asked, how do you get a roommate as a freshman? Is it random?
Yeah, so you can either choose your roommate or you can go random. I personally have gone random both years, and I've really, really liked both my roommates. My roommate last year and I still keep in touch, and my roommate this year and I hang out together all the time. I mean, it's pretty cool. So I'm really glad that it worked out. You can also organize a roommate. So there are going to be things like Facebook groups that kind of come up for like your class. If you're interested in that, people will like post pictures and talk a little bit about themselves, their routines and their schedules and what they're involved in and interested in. And you can kind of pick a roommate through that if that's what you're interested in. But either way, you could either select or you could go random if that's something you prefer.
Great. We do have another question. What are the bathrooms like in the residence halls? Like how does that work?
Yeah, so in typical halls like this, they are communal bathrooms. So you're going to have things depending on the size. My bathroom has, I think, like 3 bathrooms and 3 showers. They would be shared. They're cleaned daily and then deep clean weekly. So where they literally like hose down the whole thing with like sanitizing and stuff like that. So they are kept like really, really clean. I personally don't mind them. I grew up in a big family and in and out of like camps my whole life. So I'm very used to kind of like communal living, but even people I knew who had their own bathroom here, like at home, really didn't mind the transition. We also have things like suite styles. And so in suites and stuff like that, you'll have a bathroom shared between like 2 or 3 rooms.
Awesome. We do have one last question.
Yep.
And what is something that you wish you had packed? Like that one last thing you like slipped your list, something you wish you would have packed before, coming to UNH.
My winter coat. I forgot my winter coat my freshman year because I really did think that I was going to get home for Thanksgiving before it got cold, and I was very, very wrong. I'm also a baby in the cold, and I'm not wearing it right now because it is in the wash. However, I definitely am not as tolerant of the cold as everybody else. So forgetting my winter coat was definitely a big thing. Other than that, I think I definitely overpacked more than underpacked. So if you have not put on a piece of clothing for a year, you're not going to need it in college. I promise. Don't bring it, because bringing it up the stairs when you get here is going to be where you regret packing it, because it's heavy when you add like 15 things you've never used and you won't use the whole time you're here. So that would be probably my recommendation.
Awesome. Oh, we did get another question. And they want to know, how does laundry work?
Yeah, so basically your hall will have a laundry room. Mine is shared between my hall and the hall next door. They actually have an app and they'll show you all the machines and just which ones are taken and how long they have left if they are taken. So you're just going to have, I think my hall has 6 washing machines and 12 dryers, and it goes on a swipe system. So you'll have things like dining dollars or cat's cash that you can use there.
Great.
Any other questions?
We do not have any more questions as of now.
Awesome. So we're going to go really quick and just look at the lounge and the kitchen just to kind of show you what else we have on just this floor alone. They'll be on the other floors as well. And then we're going to go head over to an academic building. Awesome. So this is just one of our lounges. We have things like a TV, some couches, study table and chairs, and a fireplace, which is really cool. And a lot of socials will happen there. And then right next door, we have our kitchen. So the kitchens will have things like full-size fridges, sinks, stoves, microwaves, and stuff like that. We also have like communal pans, and in my hall, we've actually been pretty cool, and we'll get like communal ingredients. So we'll kind of like bake cookies and then hand them out to each other because we know that we're all contributing to the ingredient pile, which is really nice. So, yep. And then they have one of those on every floor here. And then on the bottom floor, we also have a lounge with ping pong tables and pool tables. And that'll all be listed under like amenities if you're looking on the housing website. So you could definitely see what's involved and included in your dorm.
We do have another question, and I know we're heading towards, academics now, but do you have any experiences like with an internship on campus or research, anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm on my sophomore year, so I'm still kind of early into like the whole like internship and like very professional stuff. However, I did start research last year, so I'm an environmental science student. I kind of reached out to my advisor and said I was interested in getting involved in research because it was something I like started in high school and just wanted to keep going with. And I actually was paired with an older student who had been doing research for a while and kind of acted like a research assistant, which was really cool. I got to take water quality samples and just test how efficient like detention ponds on campus were. We're gonna get right there because it'll be faster. But test how efficient those were and how we can make it more efficient, which is really cool to get involved in my first semester here.
Awesome. Great. And for me personally, I have done an internship here on campus through the tour guide program. I was able to get an internship in the admissions office this past summer. But there are a lot of great opportunities for students to, to get internships, and study abroad and, semester in the city. Lots of great programs here at UNH. Looks like they are coming up on Horton here now.
Try to find a classroom you could talk into. We might go the other way.
Yeah, so they are in Horton Hall right now, which is home to a lot of different departments: communication, social sciences, and history. So
Okay, here we go. So a medium-sized classroom here in Horton Hall. So here we're going to talk a little bit about like things like academics. For example, every student here gets an advisor, and your advisor will be major specific. My advisor, for example, was an environmental science person. He had been doing research for years and years. He actually helped discover acid rain on the East Coast, which is pretty awesome. I mean, to learn from like one of the people that did that, and he went to the first Earth Day and kind of just like mentioned these offhand, like that was something everybody does. So definitely professionals and definitely like really involved and really educating what they're doing. And your advisors will help you basically do everything from selecting classes and scheduling to things like finding opportunities and getting recommendations. I know my advisor recommended me for an honor society for like my department, and I actually got in. So now I'm a member of that, which is really cool. And he also got me in contact with other people doing research I was interested in and kind of gave me a recommendation for that, which was really nice. So definitely really appreciate him for that. Along with that, every student will take about like 4 or 5 classes a semester, maybe 6 if you're not taking things like labs, depending on how many credits they're all worth. Yeah, I mean, kind of like the standard stuff. You also take like discoveries. So these are classes you wouldn't typically take in your major, but to make sure that you're branching out. For example, like you'll take English classes even as a STEM major and things like humanities, just to make sure you're getting a really well-rounded education. And this is also a great place to just kind of like study a little bit more into things you're interested in, but not necessarily related to your major. So I've learned about things like race through literature, which is really cool. Just stuff that I wouldn't have the opportunity to do if I didn't do it through that. We also do have things like study abroad. So that's something you could do here. Again, there's over 400 programs and a full website of things that you could do. I know for my major specifically, they've designed a program that goes to New Zealand. And so you're welcome to do that, but you're not forced to if you want to study somewhere else. Like that's what I'm planning on doing. You're welcome to do anything. And there you could either study in another university or do things like research and internships. And you can also apply for a lot of different grants and scholarships to make that a more affordable process if that's something you're concerned about. And then all of these classes kind of vary. So this is kind of like a smaller to medium class size. My largest has probably been about like 150, and that's going to be at like my general like biology class. And all of those really large classes will have either a lab or a recitation where you're going to get more hands-on kind of like communication, and that'll either be led by a professor or like a master's student who's like TAing the class, which is really helpful. So I know like my calculus class is a recitation where I could ask questions I just wasn't comfortable asking in like a big classroom, mostly because I knew I was doing like little dumb math mistakes, and it was really annoying to like ask a like really big professor who's like grading my stuff like, oh man, why didn't this work? And I did like a simple arithmetic mistake in the beginning that made every number after wrong. So that'll how it like get smaller. My smallest class, and again, I'm a sophomore, so I'm still kind of in the general classes, has been about 12 people, which is really cool. And even my introduction class, so a class that everybody in my major had to take, was about 15 people. So it definitely varies in class size. So you're going to get kind of an experience with everything. Yeah. Any
Awesome.
questions?
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions. Somebody asked, is it hard to change majors at UNH? Let's say they've taken a couple classes, that are in their major, they haven't really liked it. Would it be, is it possible for somebody to switch?
Yeah, it's more than possible to switch majors if that's not something you're kind of into. It's definitely really easy to switch to things that are kind of similar. I know my friend Andy is in communications right now, but he switched a couple times just between things to make sure it's like exactly the concentration. It's definitely one of those things that you just kind of talk to your advisor and they'll help you kind of streamline, especially if you're taking classes that are kind of geared to that. Some of the harder majors I'll just like switch through is like nursing and stuff like that, some of the more competitive majors here. So that will be a little bit more difficult, but if you kind of catch it early, it's definitely still doable.
Great. And then we do have another question that somebody asked, what is your favorite tradition, your favorite UNH tradition?
I'm really excited for the primal scream. That's definitely a tradition I'm excited for. So basically, this year, just to make COVID friendly, we're doing it outside. But usually, what happens is students line the stairs of the library during finals week and they scream for an entire minute straight just to kind of release some of the stress of finals. So I'm definitely excited to experience my first one.
Awesome. Great. And I have done the Frazzle Food Finals and the Primal Scream, and it is an experience. So great. We do not have we do have one. We have no more questions for right now. So you're all good to head on out.
Awesome. So we're just going to head by and look at some of the kind of other academic buildings on Academic Way.
My favorite tradition here at UNH definitely involves all of our hockey games, all of our home hockey games. So at all of our home hockey games, if UNH scores first, one lucky student, they'll toss a piece of dead fish right onto the ice. Lots of music starts playing, and it's a very, very good experience. And one of the biggest traditions here at UNH involves, our hockey games. And so.
Awesome. So on my left right here, you're going to see Parsons. Parsons is the home to things like chemistry and the chemistry lab. So most of those will happen there. I know I'm taking my chemistry in there right now and chemistry lab. And so that'll cover like some of your discovery credits if you have some like that you need to take, that's a great class to take it for if you're interested in that. Farther down, you'll see there's a whole bunch of math and stuff like taking things like ULIP. Coming up on our right is a PCAC, so the Paul Creative Arts Center. That's going to be your home to music, theater, performance, art, stuff like that. It's definitely always a cool building to walk by because it's definitely one of my favorite parts of my walk. As you can see, they have a new art piece up here and they put it on the wall so everybody can see it as they walk by. But they also have an art museum in there. They'll display things like masks they've made. It's really cool.
We do have one question. Somebody asked, what is your favorite class that you've ever taken, here at UNH?
Yeah, I would say my favorite class was probably my introduction to environmental sciences. It was something I was really, really interested in with a professor that I really, really liked. I definitely got a really, really good understanding of my major and kind of like what I can do with it. But I'd say a really, really close second would be my professional perspectives class, which is where we met professionals that both work at UNH as well as around the community to see what kind of things we can get involved in. I really liked that class because it kind of showed exactly what kind of careers we could get, as well as helped us make connections that we probably wouldn't have been able to if it weren't for a professional here helping out, which is really cool. And it was cool that it counted for credit as well.
Great, thank you. Looks like some technical difficulties, but looks like they're coming back now. So.
Awesome. So this is some of the PCAC. So you can see there's already sculptures on the wall and stuff like that. Just a really cool building to kind of look through if you're interested in like just looking at stuff like that at all.
I remember during my freshman year, they had this like welcoming show at the PCAC, and I went with the entire floor of I lived in a freshman only dorm, and I got to see a show like right in the PCAC on my first days here on campus. It was a really great experience, and the PCAC definitely one of the most underrated buildings here on campus.
Yeah, so as you can see right here, we're kind of in an art gallery. This is where they're kind of displaying a lot of student work. I remember when they first made the masks, they actually took a walk around campus while wearing them. So although it was pretty confusing at 9 a.m. when I realized what it was actually super, super cool. And a lot of my STEM professors were also a little confused by it, but a lot of them were animals, so we were all super into it. This is definitely an underrated building on campus. I definitely agree with that. And it's always a pleasure when I either get to come in or just walk by and see all the stuff that students are working on here.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Kyla, for the campus tour today. Are there any last minute questions? Or we do have one last question, and if you don't know, that's okay. Can you share anything about the UNH, like the marching band, if you know anything about it? No problem.
Yeah, so our marching band does perform at all of our home football games, which is really cool. My friend Andy's in the color guard, so that's definitely a big thing. And my roommate is actually a cheerleader, so she performs around halftime with them, which is really cool. Marching band can count as a class, and there are also scholarships that are geared to it, which is really nice. There's definitely a lot of hype for the marching band. You could hear them march in, and a lot of people get super, super excited for it. Halftime is always a really great experience, and everybody's also really, really into it. Also, there's things like they perform at parades. I know a lot of color guards will go farther to different kind of parades, but I know a lot of the marching band is invited to those too.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Awesome. We don't have any. That is the last of all of our questions for today. So thank you so much for everybody for joining us today. We really did hope you enjoyed our campus tour. Campus tours are going to continue in person during the spring next year. So please join us for those as well. If you do have any questions, please visit us online, admissions.unh.edu to learn more about other opportunities. And if you do have any questions, please feel to send us an email at admissions@unh.edu. And thank you everybody so much.